otherwise known as the Geek-Inspired Podcast, with obviously our other host, Geekoscopy, down below, or wherever he is pointing at right now. And to our right, left, I'm trying to see that side, that way, is KuyaBraye. Sorry, this finger's not working. There we go. KuyaBraye, otherwise known as Brainard. How you doing, B?
Thanks, and you?
Yeah.
He said, "Fine, thanks, and you."
How you doing, B?
I'm good, thanks, and you?
Can't complain. So, well, let's just jump right in. Kuya, tell us a little bit about you and what you do, my brie.
A little bit about me.
That's your cue, Kuya.
Okay, so
It's your time now. It's your time.
Basically, I'm a bit of a geek that likes the whole geek culture, and I started doing YouTube, making videos when what it's like going to geek conventions, and I enjoy gaming, so then now I'm busy trying things out on Twitch.
Is that it?
I don't know.
KuyaBraye in a
I'm not really sure
nutshell.
what else to say about myself.
How did you come up with your name? Where does your name originate from? Your brand name, not your actual name. I know your parents probably gave you that.
Actually, Kuya is Tagalog. It's from Philippines. It means kind of like big brother, and I'm a big brother in real life, and I've been sort of like a big brother figure to quite a number of people. So I kind of thought, why don't I be like a big brother in the geek community?
That's pretty cool. So amongst, apart from Twitch, I've also seen you put up a few TikToks. So what are you doing on there? How do you get ideas for that platform, and how does it fuse together with the rest of what you do?
The ideas about, I guess I can say like 90% of them, I actually saw a TikTok video, and I thought, hey, let me try and do the same, or add a little twist to what I would prefer. And then there's a handful where I was like, this audio sounds good, but let me do something different to what this video was doing. So yeah, busy testing out my creativity that side.
I think it is pretty cool for creativity, especially given like the short format. You're kind of restricted to try and get like the idea across pretty quickly. That sometimes like having that kind of short format restriction actually makes you more creative, because you're thinking like, what can I do in this few seconds to grab people's attention? Otherwise, they'll just swipe up on you like last week's fashion. Just like,
Yes.
So,
Like,
yeah. I actually find
it's
TikTok
funny
pretty
how,
fun.
what is it?
I said I find TikTok pretty fun to consume because it's like bite-sized. Also, there's like I think there's like a built-in comedic like function about it, because you never know what to expect like when you swipe up. So like you always like sidewinded by something random. It
Yes.
keeps your attention. I think it really like gets that dopamine hit really hard because of just the variety, especially of the For You page. But what were you gonna say?
Yes. What was I going to say? My attention span's very horrible today.
Probably because of TikTok.
Probably. It only lasts for those 15 to 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's like it's a timer. There's always like a timer going on in the back of our minds right now, and it resets every time your attention goes onto something else. It's just modern culture.
Yes.
This is what's supposed to be sorted out when the stream starts.
So, what are you doing when you're not creating content or playing games or watching anime and the geeky stuff?
So I have a day job in IT support, and other than that, I just watch movies, series, even if it's not geeky related stuff. And I'm very slowly trying to get into reading. I haven't really read a book since high school.
Sorry, how many times a day do you have to say in your IT job? Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Like the reference. Is the light blinking? About maybe 3 times a day, but I'm slowly moving away from the actual dealing with people. I'm slowly moving away from dealing with people over the phone or the actual support thing. They're sort of moving over to the like a team lead side of things, but yeah, still in IT support.
That's pretty cool.
So you said that you're starting to read. What are you starting to get into reading? What are you busy reading at the moment?
I just started, well, not just started, but was it The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg? I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Yeah, so I noticed that I've got a habit of procrastination, but I know it's not uncommon. But this book was so far it's quite enlightening on how the brain works and how habits develop or change and so on.
I don't like the notion that procrastination is a habit. I think procrastination is more of a symptom of just like not wanting to do something. Like your brain is fighting so hard, telling you that I do not want to do this, and I would rather be doing something else. And then I think over time it becomes habit because you're getting that dopamine hit from what you're doing instead of doing what you're doing. Yeah, but I think it's like now I treat it as like, okay, my brain is telling me that what I think I want to be doing right now is not what I actually want to be doing, and maybe I need to do it in a different way, or maybe I just need to leave it, do whatever, then come back at a later time and then be more focused. But obviously that's me specifically, and people vary considerably. We're a very variable species.
Yeah, definitely.
How do you, like, you said you try to read, so obviously you're feeling in itself you're probably either procrastinating or you're finding it difficult. Are you finding it more difficult than previously in your life, or just now?
Not just finding it difficult to get into the routine. So I did reading for like a week, and then suddenly that routine just stopped. But yeah, with routines, it takes a while. I think on average it takes about a month for a routine to really stick. So yeah, and then also with regards to routines and habits, the book also mentioned triggers. So there was one habit that I noticed: your phone constantly going off with notifications, and then you just have the urge to like open it up, look, have a look, see if and 90% of the time it wasn't even something that was related to me, especially those group chats.
Oh yeah.
So to break away from that habit of constantly monitoring my phone, I mute the group chats every now and then so I can focus on other things.
I think at this point my default setting is mute the group chats. Like only unmute the really important ones. I think the only one I pay attention to is actually the Geek-Inspired Podcast. I don't have any other chat that's like actually going. At this point, I think there was one point last year where I was like, I actually don't even need to be in most of these groups. Like if I'm not contributing in any way and have it muted, why am I there?
Yeah, good point. But also, especially in our field of media, sometimes it helps to be in those groups so you can be aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
Though 90% of those messages are just spam.
Yeah. So yeah, I suppose it's a catch-22. It depends. You guys have any questions for Kuya?
Why don't you ask different?
I know.
The book thing, yeah, I suppose. You know what? Someone else. Sorry, brain isn't burning up.
The other content creator in the world, who would you choose to be and why?
Other content creators in the world. I guess I would have to say Casey Neistat. In a way, it was his vlogs that kind of inspired me to get going, grab a camera, and record what I was doing. Something that I wanted to share with everyone. And it was quite interesting to see his confidence in his vlogs, that he's okay with walking down the street of New York with a camera, not giving a care, and the way he reacts, it's like, in a way, it's like he doesn't have anything blocking him. Like he doesn't have a filter to be like approach people like, hey, blah 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 blah, or sometimes he even has a quick chat with the police while he's walking.
Interesting.
Yeah, very extroverted, I suppose.
Interesting. I was contemplating whether to actually delete that question when I read it, because I was like, why would you want to be like another person? Like, aren't you your own person? But I suppose it's more like, whose life would you kind of want to live while you're still who you are?
Yeah.
It is actually.
Yeah.
Instead of saying who would you rather be, because I don't think anyone should. You worded it very ever be someone else.
Yeah.
But you would love to emulate someone else and just like move or grow off of what they've done and just like create your own thing, move off of what they've done and actually be your own person, but still using the ability that they have.
Yeah. What I thought about replacing that question with is which content creator will you want to collaborate with on a project the most?
Yeah, that's also a good one.
Oh, if I want to collaborate with. It's difficult because actually that's the thing. I there's no one person that I want to collaborate with at the moment. because I kind of have an idea of trying to collaborate with almost everyone in the geek community, like some bits and pieces here and there. Oh wait, I just thought of something. Maybe if only FanCon wasn't cancelled and we didn't have all this lockdown, it would have been nice to have a collaboration with one of the international guests that were coming down. Alodia, what's her name now? But yeah, she's like a cosplayer gamer from Philippines. So it would have been nice to maybe have a chat with her and then just have a few seconds with her in my vlogs.
Oh,
Yeah, that's pretty. So, like me, Brett, I
Yeah.
am one of the people that can get very angry when I'm playing games. Very
no.
angry.
Oh,
So, if you've ever watched any of our streams, you'll see that I can get pissed off so badly that I'll just rage quit. Has that ever happened to you?
and if so, which game?
And which game pissed you off so much that can actually make you rage quit? Is there a game that can actually do that?
Honestly, no, but I think there is someone that can get me to rage quit during a game. I'm just remembering a few moments when I was a bit younger with my cousins. We would play those fighter games like Marvel vs. Capcom games, and I had one cousin who would always sort of annoy me or try to outdo me. Every time there were times when he'll be like, he'll ask his brother or another cousin to like cover his eyes, and he'll like beat me in the game without even looking. So I did get upset back then. Yeah. After growing up, I realized that there was button bashing, or you can actually at some point memorize the controls, and you can just
Get good. You can
just
get
try
good.
and like just play out combos and see if it hits.
Yeah. We got a question from the YouTube chat here from Fandom is Awesome. It says humans in all capital letters. And what direction do you want to take your content in, Kuya?
What direction? Did I hear that right?
What direction? Not one direction. What direction?
What direction do you want to take your content?
So where are you taking your content next, Kuya?
Let me think. Hopefully, at some point, cover the more of the conventions that are happening around South Africa, for starters, and maybe eventually cover conventions internationally, and then that will also incorporate traveling vlogs, which I've been trying to do with my last trip to Philippines. So I vlogged bits and pieces there, and I tried to post that on YouTube. So that was an interesting experience for me. So yeah, so more conventions, traveling, more a bunch of collabs as well. That would be nice to. It's a nice way to actually hang out with people in the geek community as well.
Might be a bit difficult in the new coronavirus traveling around.
Yeah,
So you might have to wait a while. But speaking about the Philippines, like, what in your opinion are some things about Filipino culture that's like kind of unique and you don't find like maybe in South Africa?
I don't know, because there are a lot of similarities. Because we all enjoy food very much, both here and Philippines.
Well, what kind of food? Like, what are they eating? What the staples are?
Staples, rice, lots and lots of rice. But yeah, but also quite a lot of fish, depending on the regions. But fish was also quite a common thing for me. And yeah, I don't think there isn't much of a difference. Probably, and I guess also depending on the area, they also have this friendlier vibe. Like they're always willing to help you.
It's pretty cool.
It is indeed.
If you had to choose anime or video games, what do you reckon? I'm a video game dude. No, okay, I'll give you an idea as to why she's busy laughing.
Yeah, what's going on there?
My stomach is rumbling.
Did you guys not eat yet?
We haven't eaten dinner yet.
Oh dear.
Oh.
So my stomach is going.
If you didn't tell us, we wouldn't know because the camera didn't pick it up. Next time you guys.
I think I'm broken my wife.
It's a sign, guys. It's a sign. Maybe next time you guys need to buy podcast snacks. Google what is the best snack for a podcast. Have it on hand. Decrease the gurgling. But yes, Kuya, if you had to choose, we didn't forget.
I know, right? Yeah, funny faces because my stomach's gone there.
There you go. I'm back.
But yeah, okay, back to the question. Now, me personally, I will not do without video games. I will not survive without video games. I can survive without anime, but video games, How about you?
I think I would have to agree with you on that one. The main thing is that with games, especially if it's a video game with a good storyline and like multiple endings, it gives you a chance to just play through them again and again to get all those different endings. Or even if it doesn't have multiple endings, it's more interactive for me. Because with anime, you're just watching it. I mean, not that I don't love anime, but at least with the game, you're interacting with the story. You are the character.
You're living their story for them.
And you get to choose, so you feel like you're that person at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's difficult to, like, you can't replicate agency like in any other format of media beside gaming. Also, you get anime games, so if you want to experience the story of like One Piece until certain arcs, you can go play One Piece Pirate Warriors. So it's kind of a hack.
Yes.
If you want to get linear, dude, you can play Final Fantasy VII, the remake.
I'm busy playing that right now.
Yeah, exactly. If you really want to play a game that actually tells you a story and doesn't really let you play, just go like what they like to call classic mode, and then let the game play itself, and you can just watch.
Speaking
I'll
of
stick to the
choices,
whole podcast.
speaking of choices, if you could choose only 3 media platforms and end the rest of them, like you would choose, there can only be 3 to survive. Which would you keep, and which ones will have to suffer the fate of Kuya ending it?
Hours in your hands, Kuya.
You can tame or slap social media. Who are you ending?
I don't want this power. It's too much. But if I really had to choose, YouTube, definitely I want to keep because that's where everything started for me. And would Twitch count? Because basically you stream and then you're done. It's not like the content stays there forever kind of thing.
Yeah. But now I think that you're choosing 2 video platforms. Like YouTube.
Yeah, you're just choosing video platforms. It's got to be YouTube and then some other things.
Yeah.
So I think you inherently chose YouTube over Twitch because, I mean, let's face it, like YouTube can stream. It has the functionality. It might not have the community functionality that Twitch has.
But yeah, it does have the streaming functionality
But it
nowadays.
still has streaming, and it has search with Twitch, like proper search engine capability that Twitch doesn't.
The same token, you can also go into things like BitChute and whatnot when it comes to uploading videos and stuff like that. So you've got other options as well.
Yeah, that is true.
You can actually switch around and jump onto not BitChute. That's right, it's the other one.
And another platform, I would say Instagram, because it's a nice place with short clips, photos. It's especially photo-wise, or art. It's a nice platform for me. I haven't really gone into the others, like apparently Tumblr used to be a good place for fan art as well, but I haven't really dived into it, so I only know Instagram. And then I guess the next one would be TikTok, because it's a nice place. Short clips. It's really fun and quite interactive, especially with that duet or react functions and so on.
The functionality in TikTok is actually mind-blowing. Like the video editing, it's crazy. Like no other platform has those type of abilities and video filters and, like you said, like duetting. Like no other platform has that type of thing. I was actually really impressed.
Yeah.
Like technically, it's a really well designed and really powerful app. It's just got a bunch of kids doing weird things on it, and that's why I think the older crowd doesn't understand. But it's actually like a really powerful video editing platform.
Yeah, and it's a nice place to just goof off in a way.
Exactly. Well, until the older crowd catches on and comes on, and then people will start feeling like they're being judged again. But it is much easier to post a goofy video on TikTok, like psychologically. It's like, I'm just going to post this nonsense on TikTok and it's really fine.
Yes.
I would never post this on Instagram. But actually, I would actually post it on TikTok, but actually feel better about then capturing that TikTok and then post it on Instagram. It feels better.
Yeah, it's a really nice outlet to let out stress as well.
I agree.
Well, what's nice about TikTok is, in my opinion, you can act like an idiot and post it, and not people think so. They will like it.
Exactly.
You saw that video, that TikTok video of mine.
Us dancing in Zev dancing in Tesco's.
See,
Things
wow.
his feet. Weird things like that. You can act like a complete idiot and
Yeah.
watch it. They like it.
I don't dox you.
I'm sorry.
I don't care. Sometimes it's like, I'm giving up on even worrying about it. So, Kuya, remember last night Kez said that, oh, sorry, it was Lambie, sorry. Was it a different person? Lambie, I was busy playing Minecraft with Lambie the other night. And I dropped Kez's real name, which obviously everyone knows her real name anyway, but I dropped her real name on Lambie's stream. And he says to me, I've never heard you call her by her real name. I'm like, I do it all the time, dude. You know, everyone knows her real name. And she does it to me more often than not. And she's like, no, I don't. I've never said your real name. I'm like, every single stream.
No, yeah, I agree with that. It's much. The number of Rosses is much higher than the number of Karens. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I think that's just a statistical fact. But also the number of angels is higher than the number of Kezes, though, as well. We have to put it.
Yeah, well, I understand. Yeah, man. Now wait for the entire chat to go. What's up?
If they were.
Anyway, continuing. I'll ask you the next question. Who would like to ask the next question?
What are you looking forward to in the next console generation?
Don't say those names. Console generation. Look out. I'm sorry to all you PC Master Racer. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, PC Master Race is already experiencing.
Master Race. Go on, just play games. Simple. Right?
Yeah, it shouldn't really matter what platform, because it's all becoming cross-platform nowadays. It's just Sony that's being a bit stubborn about it at the moment.
Not stubborn.
Well, that's in terms of playing together, but what are you looking forward to?
To be honest, console-wise, I'm not really in depth with what exactly is going on, or like what's coming or what has happened already. It's just recently with the PS4, I only got it because Horizon Zero Dawn was exclusive, and when I saw the trailer and reviews for it, I was like, I need this game. But unfortunately, it was like only on PS4. Otherwise, I would have to try and get it on PC, but then first upgrade my PC. Well, get a whole new one.
You told me
It's
about
going to
the
cost
last
you
one.
more than the game itself, dude.
He's got it on PS4.
It's going to hurt you if you had to buy a whole new PC just for the game. Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you have to buy whole new PCs as well. So we know how you feel, bro.
Yeah. Well, my laptop's going on about 6 years now, so it's kind of reaching its limits.
Yeah, no, I'd say.
Yeah.
Wally says he believes in the power of PC. However, let's be honest, both Xbox and PS5 are killing designing their consoles for the next gen. Their very architecture does what PC can't, at least not for nowhere near the same price.
Yeah, that is true.
That is definitely true.
Yeah, I have to admit, you know what? Yes, you're quite correct. You can build, and I'm not going to argue any points here. I am an IT technician myself. You build a PC that is much stronger than a PS4 and a PS5 and an Xbox.
But it's going to cost.
It's going to cost you so much. You may as well just take out a loan for a car, because that's how much it's going to cost you, right? Whereas with a PS5 or an Xbox, you're paying. Okay, you guys are going to cuck off, but it's going to be about £500-600. I think about £500 for us, which is about right. In fact, the technology in the Xbox and the PS4 and PS5 are
About
Rather impressive.
$600.
Yeah, it's about $500-$600, and it's impressive stuff that's inside those consoles.
Mm.
The fact that they can
Yeah.
downprice these consoles that much so that everyday people can go out and buy it, that is impressive to me.
No, I think they said 300.
But
$500.
$500 to $600. But when it comes to PCs, you cannot build anything that will match them yet. The consoles, unfortunately, are a little bit ahead because you cannot build anything that is as affordable as those two are right now in comparison. If you compare anything, I mean, I've looked at the PC builds out there. To be able to get a graphics card that is as powerful as an Xbox Series X, you would have to buy a GT, what is it, GT 2070? Or was it 2060? I think it was 2060.
27.
Yes.
I think it was 2060. That alone is going to cost the price of a PS5. Just the graphics card alone is going to cost the price of a PS5.
Yeah.
Why?
Definitely.
It has to be a TI, otherwise it's not going to work properly.
Well, he recently got a nice new fancy PC.
Yeah, it's expensive. It does cost about as much as a old car. That's what it costs about as much. Yeah, and also like when you think about it from a design standpoint, like it's optimized to do one thing and play games. Like it's not running Microsoft Word or anything else. Like that's its one job, and it's optimized. And like Sony even pushed the bar on, storage capability and speed. They made their own, flash storage, which is faster than what you can get on the market. So you actually can't even put a PC together that's going to be the PS5. That doesn't exist yet.
Exactly.
Which is cool.
No, that I can agree with.
Yeah, but I was thinking more along the lines of whether you're looking forward more to the graphics or the speed, because I'm actually now more interested in getting those load times to zero, because I think we've reached an age now where we're tired of waiting for games to load.
Yes. Yeah, it would be nice if loading, especially between chapters or between scenes, it's basically instant. But otherwise, if they can't, it would be interesting to see how they handle it, like how they handled loading between scenes for God of War. So instead of having a loading screen, they just had like a short dialogue to fill in the gaps.
They hide the loading with story, with video.
Yeah.
They might not need to do that in the next console generation. Everything can load instantly.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing, like I was saying earlier, no shots out of one side. The PC is a very diverse piece of equipment. That is why it's so expensive. It's understandable.
Because you can do
more than one thing. Gaming is basically reserved for consoles. All right? In that, the console. Oh, sorry. Wrong. I reversed that. Consoles are reserved for gaming, is what I was trying to say. Consoles are basically reserved for gaming, which means that they are designed specifically to play games. All right?
Yes.
And as what Tunes was saying, PCs are built to do more than that. So this is why I like to consider.
It would be a bit expensive because of that.
They would be a hell of a lot more expensive because of that, and that's why I like to say that myself and Kez are hybrids. We play anything and everything. I don't care what it is. I don't care.
As long as you can play.
And same thing with Xbox and all of that stuff. Anyway, so what were we saying?
I think Tunes and Kuya.
As long as you can play the game, I'm sorted. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, granted, I'll play on the shittiest graphics ever because I honestly cannot stand AMD and their graphics cards at the moment because of the fact that OpenGL can't run in 7 days. 7 days to run. What is wrong with OpenGL? Did they not design something that can actually run properly with 7 days to die? Pisses me off. But other than that, I'll always run on any platform, just like you guys said you would.
Tunes, one says YouTube. Jonathan is commenting there, and then he also says graphic limitations are being handled by Unreal Engine 5. We are being told to be ready for film quality CGI as in-game graphics.
Ooh.
Yeah,
That's
Jonathan
pretty
says PS4 load times are far shorter than anything we've seen before, according to Behind Closed Doors demo. Xbox has shown us how quickly we'll be able to switch between games that are already open, but not actually how long individual loading screens could last. So yeah, there's just a lot of like flash memory, so you can keep a bunch of games open because it's not doing much else.
basically how quickly the concept of Flash, yeah.
Which is cool and interesting, although like I don't like that functionality doesn't appeal much to me, like more than the loading times. Like I don't usually keep multiple things open even on PC. On my browser I have like 5 tabs open at any time. I'm constantly watching what percentage my memory is on so my computer doesn't just blow up because I got 100 million tabs open.
You're neurotic, holy crap.
I like to keep some things clean. Like why have like 1,000 tabs open? I saw recently a
Not have to
streamer.
worry about the rest.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to those load times. I'm in an interesting position. Like,
Yeah, but that's all manufacturer faults.
I'm in an interesting position where I'll always be like a hardcore Sony fanboy because of I like to collect trophies on PSN. That's my thing. I haven't like actively done it in a long while, but my trophy level is so high that I'll never like leave it. But I'm in an interesting position where I'm too lazy to connect my PS4 to the capture card to the PC. So every time I want to stream games, I stream PC games now. So I've actually gotten into PC gaming because I'm too lazy to hook up the capture card.
If you're not too fussy about quality, you can use the remote play function between PC and PS4. If you're not too fussy on quality.
You're not fussy about lag, because fuck, sometimes the lag is terrible.
It hasn't been an issue for me though.
You're lucky, dude.
Yeah, but we have
With advantage, yeah. And also the Vita. Look, the Vita, I can admit my Vita can connect nicely to the PS4. I haven't tried the remote play on PC yet.
They talk about streaming.
Yeah, I know. Streaming games.
So, what is next on your, or what would be on your content creation wish list?
Content creation wish list. I've got this thing that I want to try with regards to interviewing some of the cosplayers and media people. Hopefully, if I can sort of make sense of this idea that I have at the moment.
I should have been more specific in that question. I was talking about equipment. Like, what are you saving up to buy?
Equipment.
Yeah.
Who else is unfinishing their questions here?
Equipment wise, right now, short term, I'm trying to aim for this camera called Canon. I think it was a G7X Mark II.
Okay.
It's a pretty decent vlog camera. Apparently, it's pretty decent in low light, especially with conventions when they're indoors. And it also records in 4K. And it doesn't have the whole separate battery function. You can even use a power bank to charge it with a micro USB. So it's really handy for on the go.
Nice.
How much is it running these days?
The Mark II, last I checked, I think on average 10K. So we'll see how long it's going to take me to save up for that one. But then now it's going to be like new computer, your camera?
Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah. I would go with the computer first, I think.
Yeah,
Especially given
maybe
that
computer
you're not
first.
going to get much chances to go outside anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. The coronavirus.
So yeah. And then after that, I'll probably, and aside from the camera, I would really like to get at least a sort of entry-level pro gamer quality kind of, like a pro gamer kind of PC. Just so that it can handle playing games and streaming.
I want to get one of these things that you're talking about. It seems very interesting.
Yeah. Top tier, high quality.
Matrix?
High quality. Yeah. When it comes to,
Sorry?
I mean, from what I know, having looked around, as long as you have an RTX 2060, or even I think they made an RTX 1065 or something. But what you want is the RTX functionality, because that's a separate chip that allows you to video encode. And then on the CPU side, I think a series like 5 AMD processor will be more than enough. And then you can build around that, but it's still going to be maybe 20 grams if you're lucky. Especially in the coronavirus, given all these parts are made in China. I don't know whether it's actually a good time to build a PC. Maybe you might have to wait on that anyway, but it'll take a while to save up.
Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna take a while, but at least it'll give me time to do a little more research, and who knows, maybe something new comes out that's reasonably priced and so on.
The whole thumbs for you.
Good luck, dude.
Yeah.
Reasonably priced PCs are hard to find. At least reasonably priced good PCs are hard to find.
Yeah. Yes.
I heard that it might actually now be better to buy a pre-built PC than to stitch one together. It might be cheaper. I haven't actually looked at the market.
Buy the parts and then put it together myself.
No, I heard that the parts are more expensive now than buying a pre-built. But I haven't looked at it properly. It's just rumors. Considering that the pre-built PCs were made long before the part shortage. That's the reason why. But some people generally don't like pre-built PCs. It's a whole thing with the PC master race. Go ask those people. Me, I'm still console fanboy.
So Wally has a question, and he wants to know: would you ever be interested in making a film as a content creator? If so, what ideas do you think you would be interested? If so, what ideas do you think you would be interested in putting to film?
Essentially, what he's doing is he's trying to get ideas from us so he can do it.
Nah,
we all
it's
know
Awali.
what you're doing, Awali.
Awali has his own ideas. He doesn't need ideas.
Yes, and Tom is saying, hello.
Hello.
Oh, chicken wingers eat.
To film. I'm really not sure because
how do you define a film? We're talking about a 90-minute cinema thing.
Well, I think
what Awali can create. He's trying to get the ideas. So if he can get them out of us, that he can make it. It's very difficult, like $1 million budget or something like that.
The next Marvel movie.
$100 million.
The next Marvel movie. Is there a specific one, an IP, that you would want to write or direct? Or film?
Well, the thing is now with film, it's I think that's more of a scripted environment, and rehearsals and so on. I'm not sure. I mean, I wouldn't mind trying, but I don't have any ideas for it at the moment because with my brain is kind of wired for
documentation,
on the spot kind of film, because with documentary style as well. Because with vlogging, you really have to be like on the spot. Is this going to be good? Is this not going to be good? How do you want to shoot it? And so no rehearsals, no scripting.
You're a documenter more than a film writer or film director.
At the moment, yeah. But if I do get an idea one day, I wouldn't mind trying. But we'll see how it goes after this whole lockdown.
Jonathan says that building a PC is an experience unto itself. It can make gaming on it feel that much more gratifying, but nothing against buying pre-built. Sometimes they are cheaper than the individual parts. Yeah, that's pretty much, what we said. If you're into building something and you're feeling, that extra bit of gratification, then I've got nothing against that. It kind of also depends on the time and the timing. And I think right now might be a better timing for building a PC, according to what I've heard. But that will change.
So Awali says he does plan on calling upon all of us to help produce the film that he wants to one day. Like-minded people will be to work with. And then he says, do we know that he made a documentary that played at an independent cinema? It was hella fun to make.
Nah, didn't know that.
Oh.
And also, it's a bit difficult for Kez and myself to get down to South Africa and do that. Unfortunately, it's expensive for us. It costs a lot of money to fly, but we'll help out wherever we can. Obviously, we're always there to help.
Maybe he'll send you like one frame to like color.
And then
charity live stream.
He also says perhaps he should ask, where do you see your content creation being in 5 years if you had control over your own? You can basically just recap your answer from earlier.
Well, no one thought that 5 years from before this.
So yeah, basically more collaborations with everyone in the geek community, and hopefully conventions around South Africa and internationally, and then it will also incorporate traveling vlogs that I kind of enjoyed doing while I was in Philippines, and something I just remembered now. Hopefully, it can also sort of be like a side income for me as well, because it would be nice that I'm doing something that I really enjoy to actually, get something out of it.
Living that ikigai life, according to the Japanese. Yes. Doing what you love and getting paid for it. I think that's all of our goals. But speaking about continue. Finish that thought.
Even if it's not like a full-time job doing this content creation, since it's still a bit of a hobby at the moment. But if I really want to get serious, it would be nice to get a little funding to get everything going.
And at the very least, it would be nice to fund the equipment to build it, so it can get better and better over time.
Yes.
But even getting to that spot is such a journey on a trek. It takes so much time and effort, and sometimes trying to make the money to pay for the things, to do the things, actually takes away your time. It's a weird world we live in. Things don't come that easy. But speaking about traveling and stuff, how do you think now that conventions are going to be changing in the coronavirus? What do you think they're going to do?
Worst situation, they just decide to cancel the whole convention thing until things settle down. But hopefully it doesn't come to that. But I think best options would be either keep running the conventions, but limit the amount of people. And then, it's not going to be as fun because they'll probably only be able to cater to half of the usual audience, maybe even less. But I think the best option would be is if they can somehow turn it all virtual. I'm not sure how they'll do that. Probably vendors will have like spots. So like as an example, on Discord, you have the little server rooms where you have like not server rooms, like channels or whatever. And then inside you have like the merchandise channel, then you have the cosplay channel. That could be the setup that they can try if they want to go virtual.
Well, I think if you boil it down, like a convention, especially like Comic-Con, is vendors, it's speakers, and it's like celebrity guests, right? So you would just have to create a space and time where the organizers are highlighting the work of vendors, enabling you to interact with and listen to the speakers as well as the guest in kind of an exclusive way, which can be done online. It would just take a bit of building and logistics and that sort of thing. I mean, Kiss already has experience with that type of stuff with Creators United, and that's pretty much like a kind of convention that's remote. So it's possible, but it's obviously not going to capture physically being like in the same room with a celebrity or touching a piece of art, looking at it like directly. It's going to be an interesting world. I mean, obviously we're going to get back to normal at some point. I think it's more about like how long it's going to take. Is it actually going to be like, I seriously doubt that it's going to be in the second half of the year. And it's even like questionable that it will be 2021. This might be like a 2022 thing. Obviously,
it will depend, but if things, if everyone actually works together, maybe 2021 could be reopened. The whole world can be reopened. But that's like best case scenario.
Okay, Jonathan says you do get 3D virtual events with stalls and everything. Then buying something through the in-event store goes through the vendor's website. Panels would be online, much like this interview. BlizzCon has a virtual ticket where you pay for extra streams and information during the physical event if you're not there. It's more or less like along the lines of what we were thinking. Like a 3D virtual thing obviously would be the next best thing beside actually being there. Obviously that would take a bunch of programming, and which I'm sure they have the money for and the time now probably. Okay. Have you been recognized, and if so, where in the weirdest place or situation has it been?
Recognize as in like recognize as a
It's
YouTuber,
like, hey,
and like
that's
hey,
KuyaBraye. Yeah.
It's only happened maybe a couple of times that I can clearly remember. But none hasn't really been in a weird or interesting situations. It was always at a convention, and then so like I'm talking to someone, then when I mention my channel, they'll be like, "Oh yes, I actually watch your channel," and then we start conversing from there. But yeah, no weird situations yet.
So, without you bringing up your channel, has someone come up to you and gone, "Know you?"
Yes. There were a couple of people that that approached me like that. I can't remember when. I think it was about two years ago. But yeah. But yeah, no weird or interesting situations.
What's the overall best or worst experience you've had at a convention?
Overall best experience or worst? Okay. Best experience, I think, would be, this was FanCon. I think it was it 2017 that I went down. I was chatting to a cosplayer and a prop maker, and without realizing it, apparently they were hired by Marvel. They were working on the Black Panther movie at the time. I think, was it Black Panther, or they already did work with the Black Panther movie, and I think they stayed on all the way until Endgame, last I checked. So it was interesting that cosplayers and geeky prop makers were being recognized even by big brands.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. So yeah, I already know the answer for this. I actually already know the answer to this question. But if you could escape into any fictional world, what would it be? Which one would you choose?
Any fictional world?
I may know.
Maybe not. At the moment, it's sort of tied between two worlds because, like one choice would be in like the whole Star Wars universe, but the whole Mandalorian side of things, because I just recently finished the series. I really kind of found the whole Mandalorian culture thing quite interesting. But an old-time favorite is an anime called Danmachi. So it's also like a fantasy world where it has like a D&D vibe to it, where you level up. You can actually monitor your skills and spells and so on. So it's basically like actually living D&D.
So what you're saying is you'd rather be in a D&D world, like the Sword Coast.
Like one of those.
Yeah, Danmachi, or is it okay to find girls in a dungeon?
Pick up a girl. Is it okay to pick up a girl in a dungeon? Yes, that's English.
Yeah. It's more like an MMO to me than D&D, because there's a bunch of animes, we call them isekais. They're kind of like MMO worlds. Yeah. Although Danmachi technically is not an isekai because no one came from a different world in there. It's just.
But it's just that like they have this tracking system of like what level you are, how your skills are.
That's the thing. Yeah, because you can see like, okay, I am this level, I have those skills, I leveled up, this is what I got, now I can use it. It's not like real life when you
Yeah.
try something and fall flat on your face. You know, it just works.
Yeah.
So while he,
Yeah.
now I finished.
Yeah, so those are my two choices, but one is an all-time favorite and one was just like recently found interesting.
I figured the D&D thing would be the one. I actually figured that would be one of them.
Well, he is part of a D&D group after all.
Yeah, that's exactly why I figured D&D World would be one of them. One of the D&D. Whether it was Baldur's Gate or one of the older ones like that, or one of your own created worlds or whatever. Anyway, Kez got one from Guts. Kez got a question from Angaziard.
It's
That's the
not a
question.
question. It's a comment on being recognized and stuff. And he said that it happened to him where random guys and girls talk to him about what he's doing. It's really nice praise knowing your work travels or that people are beginning to become familiar with who he is. Obviously, it's nice when people recognize you as well because then you know that you're making an impact and not just doing something for no money all the time. And then he also says he wants to be a Digimon, or he wants to live in Digimon. He wants to be a Digidestin.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. I would
Digital,
love.
wow.
The happy version of Pokemon, in my opinion.
I would love to live in a Pokemon world as well. I think I prefer Pokemon as well because it's much safer. Like there's no like things blowing up and like zombies and like you're much likely to survive Pokemon than almost any other fictional world.
Yeah, well, that's why I like Dragon Ball Z, because there's no way you'll die. Because every single time someone dies, they just go up to that heaven place and then the Dragon Balls will bring them back. And then they say, oh, you can only do this once. No, you can't, because how many times did Goku come back? But
Found a loophole.
Yeah, they literally found the loophole.
It comes back so often. It's like, you know what, dude? Oh, you may as well not even be dead.
He's the undead.
Yeah,
he cannot die.
zombie.
He says he's Digimon because he likes giant dinosaurs that can fly.
I mean, that sounds
Dragon
pretty
Age,
cool.
oh,
Yeah.
D&D, seriously. Dragons. Giant dinosaurs that can fly.
Jonathan says, at least you didn't pick Warhammer.
What do I have to do?
Oh, I actually haven't dabbled in Warhammer, but one day, hopefully.
I mean, I doubt I'll get to Warhammer. There's too much things for me to do. And Wally talking about
Warcon.
Yes, his dad went to work on.
Where they
Hmm.
just played War.
Well,
Yeah.
I got a whole bunch of World War II stuff that he obviously left me that I'm going to be building, like a whole bunch of tanks
But it was-
and whatnot.
It was a weekend of just like those kind of games.
Yeah, and he
Hmm.
bought a whole box set as well, which
like
I
war
inherited.
games. Yeah.
But anyway, continuing on from that coolness that might happen in times to come, I want to know from the KuyaBraye what superpower or ability he would love to have. And Buko.
But it needs to be easy enough to hide.
But you have to hide it, my friend.
Yeah.
You have to be able to
Oh.
hide it.
No one can
From
know.
yourself.
Yeah, no one can know.
No one can know that you have a power.
Exactly. You have to point
Teleportation?
that camera, not that.
Teleportation. Do you think you'll be
Yeah,
able to
because
hide teleportation well enough?
Well, depends, because like I guess you'll have to sort of be out of sight, kind of thing. Every now and then when you need to use it, and you can actually think like your destination point. You can actually think of a well-hidden spot, and then you you don't really need to struggle to be back out in the public once you're there.
I think teleportation would be
yeah.
high on my list. I dig it.
Yeah, and it saves on traveling.
It would.
I mean, I would love to travel the world, but then like 14-hour flights halfway around the country, I don't know.
14-hour flight around the country.
I mean, not the world. The world, sorry.
Yes. 14-hour flight, that's like from South Africa to here.
That's yeah.
The 1 hour flight.
Yeah, that's usually the flight time to like Philippines, like southeast region.
Ah. No, that was for us. That was 12 hours, then 1 hour stopover and a flight to Glasgow International. 14 hours.
What are your other top destinations? Where else would you like to go?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Japan would be a really important one to go to first.
But where in Japan? Where in Japan?
Oh, where in Japan? I don't know because
in Japan tonight. In Japan, all right.
I'm just trying to think. I'm actually not too familiar with like where everything is, but with regards to Japan, I just it would be a nice place to explore all the places culture-wise, and then I mean it's basically the home of anime and cosplay. I can't remember where the main areas are. I think Kyoto is one of them.
Yeah, it's Akihabara in Kyoto.
Yes.
Yeah, like if you're like a weeb, like all of us, then you want to go to Akihabara.
The home of the weebs. We need to go home.
The home of the weebs. We must go back to the motherland in Akihabara. Yeah, there's like Akihabara. Obviously, like you want to see Okinawa because a lot of like it's kind of like rural, but still featured a lot in anime, especially swimsuit editions of episodes. And yeah, I would like to see Kyoto because like Kyoto's like a whole city that's just like built on water, which it's like their version of Venice. Like, those are like my top 3 spots. What other countries are we looking at?
Other countries. Let me think. Probably Scotland. Like, I just want to like go somewhere. But yeah, like anywhere in Europe. So maybe start with Scotland since Kez and Ziv are already there.
Context.
You're always welcome, dude.
So are you two.
Don't worry, Choose. You said before, you're always welcome as well.
I've already got an open invitation.
Don't come down.
And I guess maybe one other place, Canada. Like my cousin recently moved there late last year, and he seems to be having a good time. It's very chill there, so I might not be able to handle the cold while in Scotland and Canada, but I'm willing to.
It's not a very long distance from here to Canada. Eh? It's actually a hell of a short distance in comparison with South Africa.
Oh, really?
Yeah. From here to Canada, it's, I think it's about 3,000 kilometers, 4,000 kilometers. Not very far away.
Oh.
That does sound low.
I think. Keep talking. I'll find it.
And yeah, I guess that's basically it at the moment. Yeah.
I noticed not a lot of that is like in the southern hemisphere. Like you're done with the southern hemisphere. Like you just want to go up north.
Well,
Yeah.
Canada is somewhere northern. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the only other two places that are big,
400.
400. 3,400.
Oh.
It's in miles. My bad. Hang on.
You know, we use SI units here.
So
5,800 kilometers.
Oh, wow.
Okay. All right.
Still not as far as South Africa is away from
Yeah.
Scotland.
This is true.
Which is true.
So Wally wants to know what your thoughts are on space travel. Would you be interested in doing it or being part of the crew that goes to Mars if you have that option?
I wouldn't mind trying to be part of the crew that actually flies out. Only problem is I'm very bad when it comes to motion sickness.
Also, you're not ever coming back to Earth.
But yeah, it would be interesting to see mankind actually eventually traveling beyond the ISS, because at the moment everything's like up to there and everything else is just drones or probes.
Yeah.
We even abandoned
Would
the
you
moon.
really love to go to Mars and never return to Earth again?
Especially after 2020, we're done with this planet. Let's just bounce. We're pretty sure there's a meteor coming for us anyway, like any day. Like what is next? What do you think is next, Kuya? What does June have in store for us? June 2020.
I don't know.
What are you putting your money on?
There's a big cataclysmic event happening very soon. 20th of June, you guys are going to look out. There's a cataclysmic event that's going to happen.
Saying that because it's his birthday.
I get another year older. It's cataclysmic.
Oh, dear.
Years old.
There's definitely a disturbance in the force now.
Watch. Like 20th of June, you'll wake up and you hear the scream all the way from South Africa. Yeah.
No, you'll wake up and there'll be fire in the sky. You'll
You'll feel the ground rumbling.
Yeah,
Someone
Kuya.
doesn't have a question. He says, I don't have a question, just rather Kuya has been a supportive and wonderful friend, and the geek community would not be the same without him. Thank you for all the highlights and experience. So fake.
Embarrassing him, Tom. Embarrassing him. He doesn't know what to say. Either that, we're
Okay,
still
I think
thinking of what's going to wreck us.
I need to go now.
Did you guys see the story about the cannibal rats in New York?
Cannibal rats.
Like apparently, it's in New York, but obviously there's not a lot of people out in the cities anymore, so there's not a lot of like waste food around. So the cats are getting, I mean, not the cats, the rats are getting really pissed off. And they're getting really aggressive.
Yeah, cats are all like locked inside their houses. They're unable to leave.
So if there's a rat uprising, that sounds like June 2020.
Oh, I was just thinking of that other question, like the next pandemic. After what happened today, I think alcohol poisoning for everyone.
Viral alcohol poisoning.
Pandemic, dude. The rest of the world still could buy alcohol. It's just South Africa that got stupid. It's just your that got stupid.
Just
dude.
us that got prohibition.
The rest of the government's like, no, that's a bad idea.
No, but after they reopened bottle stores, like some people didn't even go to work; they were lining up
the
outside,
the lines.
Spark Tops and.
Yeah. You know what? That's the problem. When the South African government gets stupid, they do stupid things.
So the
Your
people line up the
government's
alcohol on a
not
Monday morning.
Cutting in there.
Priorities.
Yeah.
Medical emergency.
I'm not feeling well. I'm going to get my medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to get some disinfectant. I'll be a few hours. I need to clean some wounds. I'm going to get me some disinfectant.
It's bloody ridiculous. It really is. Yeah, today was fun. I actually really had a lot of fun with Mr. Kuya. Every day is fun. Kuya,
thank you for having me.
Worked for us today because yesterday it really didn't work well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Our line or your line, or I think it was the fact that we were streaming and online and it all just like culminated into one big.
Yeah.
That being said,
is there any other questions or comments from your side?
I just checked, and there is not really anything. Just a continuation of the Warhammer story. Apparently, it's just built on a universe straight up brutality. So obviously, you don't want to visit that. And Kuya mentioned, not Kuya. Kuya's there. Awali mentioned earlier that Wally mentioned that if there were like virtual like stores, he would have to stay on Discord the entire day with his camera selling people his goods. That's about it from the YouTube chat. Thanks everyone for joining the YouTube chat.
So, yeah, where can everyone find you?
So for YouTube and Facebook, you'll find me as Kuya's Corner. So KUYA KORNO. I suddenly forgot how to spell.
No, isn't it a K?
Corner.
So basically, it's corner with a K.
With a K, yeah.
Kuya's Corner with a K. Yeah, what is that?
Yeah. And you're 1K, you're 1K short of a lawsuit. It's like, hey, K, no.
I'm trying to avoid that one.
Yeah.
And then
not on brand.
The other platforms, you can find me as KuyaBraye, so KuyaBraye. So that's on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Those are the platforms that I'm quite active on.
Why did you change the names of those things from Kuya's Corner to KuyaBraye?
I think it all started off with Instagram, where I wanted it to be more me. So like it was just a platform for me, and then Kuya's Corner is like my little corner of sharing my going-ons about during conventions and so on.
You know what Kuya's Corner looks like, right?
Yeah.
Kuya Combat! That's what Kuya's Corner looks like. It's Kuya's Combat.
Kuya's Combat.
But there you go, guys. That's all Kuya's information. Now we're going to go down to Mr. Geekoscopy down there. He's going to flip his camera just so you can see what his name really looks like.
Yeah.
Unless you can read mirror, which I can. There you go.
Geekoscopy.
We did the upside down one today.
Oh, you mean upside down? Upside down. Yeah. At Geekoscopy, you'll find me on the internet. Wait, let me flip it for you again. No, wrong side. Okay. Geekoscopy. All over the internet. You will find me there. Right now I'm working on my Twitch. I am close to affiliate. close, but no cigar.
Yeah, another affiliate.
And then
There.
Then Kuya, me and Kuya, we class of 2020 affiliates. We will get there. Yeah, at
Right,
Geekoscopy.
and as for us, you can find us on Facebook, on Twitter. Fuck that, I'm not saying it all. You can find us on all the social media that is relevant. We are the SA Geeks. Obviously, it's very easy. The THESA, SA Geeks. GEEKS.
Yeah.
If you can't spell, I can't help you. Okay. Simple as that.
Yeah.
But
And
anyway, guys,
yeah.
thank you very much for the evening. Kuya, thanks for the whole evening. It was fun.
Thanks for having me.
not that scary.
Tunes, thanks for being here as always. It's lucky to have everyone around. I'm going to stop talking like this before what? Actually, no one's going to come and beat me up. I can talk like this as much as I want to. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us, guys. For you guys in the chat, thank you for being there, having a good time, for being who you guys are, and all that great stuff.
We're gonna go raid Gork.
We're going to raid Gork 2000. This guy is epic. He's got like shit ton of really good games that he plays. Some of the most obscure games out there, but you guys will probably have a lot of fun. You'll maybe even find a new game to play because he's always playing something new. It's really awesome. But guys, thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy Gork 2000. Enjoy Gork 2000. And as always, remember, get ready. Bye.
Bye.
Cheers.